Rise and shine, Rwanda. It's Thursday, the 26th of March.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
We visit an event welcoming a group of refugees back home.
It's time to meet another CEO.
And we help you to make your weekend plans with this week's movie review. Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahadio.
And me, Regis Isheja. Over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here in the form of Arnold Kwizera.
Rise and Shine Rwanda.
How is everything?
Everything is good, man.
What do you have in the world of sports?
A lot in the world of sport. From the international friendlies that are going to be taking place over the weekend, we look at if John McIntyre is going to give us that first win. Brazil versus France, that's a big one.
That's the one I'm waiting for.
That's a big one. We'll get into details.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it too.
Brazil versus France?
Yes.
Do you know that Zinedine Zidane and all the players that have 100 caps?
Yes, so much. I mean, it's just so crazy. I just can't wait.
All that still to come, but first, Rise and Shine story of the day.
More than 6,000 former Rwandan refugees are set to be repatriated or integrated by the Zambian government after the signing of a tripartite agreement between the two countries and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Rise and Shine Rwanda was there at the signing yesterday, and Arnold Kwizera has the details.
All Rwandan refugees living in Zambia have lost their refugee status after the signing of a tripartite agreement between the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and the governments of Rwanda and Zambia. After the implementation of the Comprehensive Solution Strategy, former Rwandan refugees living in Zambia will now have a chance to start a new life either in Zambia or in Rwanda. The government of Rwanda affirmed its readiness to receive and assist unaccompanied minors, the mentally challenged and individuals without family ties in Rwanda as long as their Rwandan citizenship is established.
Your participation, Honorable Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, and your esteemed delegation is a significant gesture which expresses the commitment of the government of Zambia to join hands with the government of Rwanda to find durable solutions for former Rwandan refugees still living in Zambia.
The Zambian Minister for Refugees reaffirmed his country's desire to deal with the hardliners that are largely responsible for the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, who are also responsible for discouraging former refugees from returning to Rwanda.
We've been assured and we've seen what this government has done to both those who committed offenses genocide. There's a very good justice system in this country. So the issue of those fearing to come back here is neither here or there, nor there. They'll come back here. If the Republic of Rwanda has issues with them, they'll do them according to the laws of Rwanda.
With a lot of money being spent on such programs, is the problem of refugees coming to an end in Africa?
Look, it's high time that no place in the world faces refugee situation. And the refugee situation has really become completely out of control. Today, if you consider people who are uprooted forcibly in the world, they are reaching nearly 100 million people. This is quite a lot. And I think more specifically in Africa, this is high time that peace, security, and stability will reign so that people will return home. A lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of resources are spent over conflicts. If these resources are spent to develop education, to develop health sector, to develop infrastructures, African countries would be among developed countries.
The Implementation of this agreement makes Zambia the first sub-Saharan African country with no refugees, but the question many Rwandans staying home would want answered is on the issue of those responsible for the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi living in Zambia. Will they be brought to book? Arnold Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
And our very own Arnold Kwizera joins us now. Now, Arnold, out of the estimated 4,000 Rwandan refugees that were in Zambia, about 200 or a little bit more had come back to Rwanda before yesterday, since 1994. What do you attribute that to?
With the exact numbers, there are more than, the exact numbers are 6,091 refugees, former Rwandan refugees, because they call them former because they're not refugees anymore after the signing of the agreement. So the exact numbers are 6,091 people. Of those, only 177 have come back to Rwanda.
Why is that?
There are different reasons have been given. One is some of these people have been there for a very long time. When you look at the time they have been in Zambia, the first group of Rwandan refugees that were reported in Zambia was in 1959. So there's been a move of people going to Zambia up to 1998 of refugees. And so many of these that went after 94 were people responsible for crimes, for genocide crimes, which is an international crime, and which they are supposed to be prosecuted for. Many of these, when they go to Zambia, they are telling the others who wanted to come back home after 94 that they're going to be accused of crimes that they didn't commit, that Rwanda isn't ready for them, that Rwanda is not a country good enough for them, and these other hardliners, these are the people who are bringing the problem to Rwandans. But the Zambian government wants to do away with all refugees, and in doing away with all refugees, it wants these people to have a passport. So that's going to be the first problem. But one of the challenges facing most of these people, these refugees, these former refugees to be corrected, is the fact that so many of them can't afford the passport application fees.
Right.
Now that's something the government of Rwanda has to maybe copy from governments like the Angolan government that waived all these fees so that people can apply for citizenship. The government of Rwanda has been trying to integrate so many groups of refugees, setting up different programs for them, giving them free mutual desante, as we saw there. That's when you look at the refugees that returned last year from Tanzania, then the other group that came from Mozambique, the year before. So the government of Rwanda is ready to receive all these people, but even hardliners can't come back. But the Zambian government says it's going to hand them over to the Rwandan government.
So what other moves are being made by the Rwandan government, other than waiving certain fees and giving free mutuelle de santé, in order to accommodate the former refugees who have come back and to make it a smooth transition?
One of those has been in the capacity building programs where they're trying to integrate former refugees, not only in Zambia, not only in Mozambique, but so many Rwandans who are refugees in Canada, in Uganda. They're trying to bring them back to work for different government institutions, well, depending on their skill set level. So if you are a doctor, maybe in Uganda, you've seen some doctors come back and they had refugee status in Uganda, and now they are doctors here. So people are being attracted to come to Rwanda because depending on their skill set. Some of those who didn't even have who didn't have a good education system, or who didn't even get a chance to go to school, are being taken to technical vocational education centers around the country. Most of those were the refugees coming in from the Congo side. They have been integrated into different projects where they're being given these extra technical vocation schools so that they can get out of making a living and being competitive in this economical world that we are in.
Now, at the conference, did you get maybe to ask or maybe hear about what Lusaka and Kigali plan to do for the hardliners, the ones who do not want to leave Zambia?
Yeah, the minister for refugees, Panda from Zambia, said that the government of Zambia is going to look for these people. Now, they've put in place a program that's going, after 3 months, they're going to reassess that program, whereby they're going to go to these former refugees, tell them of the advantages of coming to Rwanda, give them an option if they want to be reintegrated into the Zambian community as residents of Zambia, but not citizens of Zambia. But they should, with that, they will be holding a Rwandan passport. With the hardliners, if any are found, they're going to be handed over to the Rwandan government, and the Minister of Zambia the Minister of Refugees for Zambia said he is very confident with the Rwandan judicial system. The UNHCR court that is set to close has showed good signs of what the Rwandan judicial system is capable of doing, and they're going to be free and fair trials for all these people.
Is there any timeline set up in terms of when everyone has to be repatriated?
Yes, 3 months is what they have given, and after 3 months, they're going to reassess. They've said within 3 months, everyone should at least have a passport of all those refugees that are in Zambia. And after those 3 months, because Zambia wants to be the first sub-Saharan African country without refugees.
Now, of your knowledge, is there any other country in Africa that should at least take example to what Zambia just did and, you know, have Rwandans repatriated to Rwanda?
I think not only in Africa, when you look at the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, so many hardliners are in those countries. When you look at Canada, has a lot of hardliners in there. So I think more should be done to repatriate so many of these hardliners, and they come back and face justice.
Right.
You know, they face the judicial courts for the crimes they committed against the Tutsi, especially with the period that we are going in.
All right, well, Arnold, as always.
A man of many talents. And he'll be back later to talk about Rwanda and Zambia again.
Oh, lovely.
Sports,
It's in a sports way.
All over the place.
Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Connect to Lusaka 3 times a week starting 27th March. Enjoy comfort and safety at affordable fares to 17 other destinations across Africa and the Middle East.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Business now. Fidelis is out, but Makera, you're a woman of many talents. You got this.
Mac got the money today.
All right.
Three business stories making headlines today. Rwandan students have been challenged to stop informal money handling practices and invest in banking products that offer good returns. This was said during a mentoring session by the Kenya Commercial Bank as part of the recently concluded Global Money Week. Officials urged the students to save it as it would benefit them in the future. The students also toured the different departments of the bank where they were taken through the operations of various sections. A report by the Global Business Report showed that Rwanda was among one of the most exciting African mineral jurisdictions. The report was released at the ongoing Africa Mining Conference in Cape Town, South Africa. Mining contributes $137 million to the economy and has been growing at a rate of 10% since 1999. The sector has been earmarked as the one to pioneer industries for the country to achieve its Vision 2020 objectives and is expected to grow at a rate of more than 40% in the next 5 years. British American Investments Company Limited has announced a 19.5% growth in pre-tax profit for the year ended December 2014. The Diversified Financial Services Group, with subsidiaries in Rwanda, South Sudan, Mozambique, Uganda, Tanzania, and Malawi, registered profit before tax of 26.8 billion Rwandan francs, up from 20.4 billion Rwandan francs, posted in 2013. Officials said its performance was driven by new business opportunities in regional growth and expansion, strategic partnerships, new product offerings, and real estate investment. Now, his most recent achievement is winning the Outstanding Rwandan Entrepreneur Award at the African Leadership Network Awards for his first company, Axis. He is now the CEO of an upcoming online platform, Rwanda Online. For this month's Meet the CEO, I visit Clement Uwajeneza, the young businessman who grew a company from the ground up and is working to do the same for another company on a much larger scale right now. Take a look. Clement Uwajeneza started doing business the moment he left school, starting up his own IT company called Axis. Fast forward to now, and he is CEO of Rwanda Online, an internet platform in the making, ready to be launched this summer.
I'm Clement Uwajeneza. I'm CEO of Rwanda Online Platform Limited. It's a company with a mission to build a platform for the provision of automated and online services to citizens and businesses.
Having been in business for some time now, being the boss is nothing new to the young entrepreneur. So it's time to pick the brain of this CEO.
I've started doing business in 2006. I launched a company called Axis that provided software to businesses and government institutions. I grew the company to 15 employees. Then I decided towards the end of 2014 that I needed to move on and go be part of something else, something more challenging. So I transitioned the management of Axis to my colleagues and got this opportunity to join Rwanda Online. They needed a CEO. I also competed for this position to really be part of this I think it's one of the biggest and most exciting ICT projects in Rwanda, and I wanted really to be part of it. The ability to simplify complex things, because that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. Everyone sees complexity. We need to be able to simplify it in able to tackle it and solve a problem. And secondly, the ability to read people and to read situations, to read people you work with and those who expect things to you and understand them, like not just being what you have in mind, but sharing what you have in mind and reading people, not just what they say, but trying to understand how they feel about it. And reading situation, what is the future? What will technology be in 2 years? So the biggest challenge is to as a young CEO, I would say, is to have people come on board and buy into the vision of the company, truly buying into it, not just buying or not just being hardworking or working within their fields, but working towards the bigger and buying into the company. And the ability to convince and lead people towards that is when you succeed, it really makes the whole business succeed. But it's the most challenging part of this job, to really have people buy into the vision. To love challenges first, and to see a challenge as an opportunity, to be perseverant, because, and by the way, becoming an entrepreneur, you can spend 5 years facing difficult situations on a day-to-day basis. But the experience you take out from there puts you in a position where you just can do any type of thing.
We'll definitely be looking out for this exciting new venture and all that's to come. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Truly impressive. If one day I want to do a Meet the CEO, I want to do it just like that. That was a great one, Mike.
Thank
you. What impresses you most in Clément Ouajeneza?
You know what? Actually, he's quite young, and he's been doing business, like I said in the video, ever since he came out of school. The moment he finished school, he started up the business that he was talking about, Access, right? And I think that it's quite brave because, a lot of people, they're not sure what they really want to do. They don't want to put all their eggs into one basket. They kind of want to just work a bit, try and establish themselves. But I really actually admire the fact that he was courageous enough to just start a business, and he was able to grow it to 15 employees in 8 years, you know what I mean? And now look at him, he is the CEO of a big company, So I'm really impressed by that and quite inspired by what he said as well.
Now, simplify the words he was using to explain what Rwanda Online is going to be all about. Can you explain to the people?
Well, I think that was as simple as it gets. It's pretty much an online platform that wants to connect the people with different industries in Rwanda. So basically it's trying to connect as many different things together here in Rwanda. So for instance, if you need a certain service or if you want a government, whatever it is,
right.
This platform is aiming to do that. Now, I can't really go into details. The website doesn't launch until this summer. I think it's launching in July. But it's going to be a huge project, like he said, one of a kind type of thing. And he's really, I think, the right person to drive it to where it needs to be. And he wants it to be really, really huge in his work.
A great example of how young Rwandans are really truly driving the country, and it's amazing to see someone who studied, came back and, making sure that he puts his knowledge to the service of the country. That's pretty good. Now, what does he see himself turning into? Is Rwanda Online going to be the end of the whole thing, or he wants to grow?
Well, I actually spoke to him about that, and he said that he really wants, there's a place in his mind that he has specifically that he wants to take Rwanda Online to, and once he's taken it there, he's open to expanding and, doing different things, but he said if he hasn't gotten, actually I asked him where he wants to be in the next 5 years, and he said that if he hasn't gotten to exactly where he plans to be with Rwanda Online, then he'll still be pushing at it and he'll still be doing it, but if he has gotten there already, he's ready to expand and just to take it further.
Makeda, I respect any man or woman that can create something like Access and walk away from it.
Absolutely, and Access was actually a big feat in its own, He said that he had built up Access and he had done what he could with it, and he just gave it over to colleagues so that he could move on and expand to something new with Rwanda Online. But I think, we should also acknowledge that Access has done quite well. It's won awards and, it's still operating.
Absolutely.
You
Big
go.
up to you, Clément.
No, great CEO segment right
Absolutely.
there. Sometimes I kind of don't realize that Fidelis, when she's doing the money, as you like to call it, she's learning so much. It's quite inspiring, these stories. So thank you so much for
He's great.
For joining us on the show, Clément.
Absolutely.
Great stuff right there. And you are up to date with today's business headlines. And Arnold Quizera is coming up next with sports.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. I'm Arnold Quizera. The draw for the 2016 African Nations Championship CHAN qualifiers will be held on the 5th of April at the Confederation of Africa Football headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. A total of 42 teams will be engaged in the draw based on zonal allocations of the national associations affiliated to CAF. There will be 2 rounds each for the qualifiers except for the Northern Zone, which includes Libya, Morocco and Tunisia, with each playing the other on a round-robin basis, with the top 2 qualifying for the final tournament. The qualifiers will start from the weekend of June the 19th to the 21st through to August the 28th to the 30th, where 15 teams will emerge to join hosts Rwanda for the 4th edition of CHAN from January 16th to February 7th, 2016. The Mediterranean Knights of Libya are the defending champions of the tournament, devised exclusively for players who feature in the domestic leagues. Europe's governing body, UEFA, has re-elected Frenchman Michel Platini unopposed as its president for a fourth-year term. It was widely believed that the Frenchman was going to contest for the presidency of FIFA, as he has been a strong critic of Sepp Blatter's fifth-term campaign. He also retains his FIFA vice presidency for 4 more years. The former France star and Ballon d'Or winner opted last year not to stand against Sepp Blatter in the forthcoming FIFA presidential election, which takes place on May the 29th. Platini has made it clear he does not support Blatter standing for a fifth term, but he used his acceptance speech to insist that UEFA had, quote, love and respect, end quote, for FIFA. All major football leagues worldwide will take a break this weekend, with the traditional international break coming into play. A number of intriguing fixtures whose results are not expected to be substantial are set up. The national team Amavubi are to take on Zambia's Chipolopolo in Lusaka on Saturday in John McKinstry's first appointment. Elsewhere on the continent, Uganda Cranes are set to take on Nigeria's Eagles in Abuja. In the international fixtures, Brazil's coach Dunga will hope to have gone past the Paris Blues, as the Samba boys will seek to bounce back from their shocking World Cup exit as they take on France.
All right, Arnold. So this one I'm really excited about, like we were talking about earlier. I mean, La Seleção playing Les Bleus. This is one for the ages. I mean, it's legendary. We know how many times they've met in the quarterfinals in Mexico in '86, where France won on the penalty shootouts. And then the 1998 final in Paris, where Brazil lost 3-0. And then the 2006 World Cup in the quarterfinals, where the Zidane's band won 1-0. A Thierry Henry goal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Now, this time around, not only is it's always a gala match when Brazil is playing France. But on top of that, the French players that have 100 caps and more will receive a special medal during this game. Why does it intrigue people so much when Brazil and France play?
I think Brazil and France, first of all, Brazil has a terrible record against France when it comes to international competitions. For some reason, I don't know why, even when Brazil comes with its best of squads,
they have their number.
Somewhere, somehow, France has their number. When you look at the 2006 World Cup,
they had everybody.
No, 2010.
6.
2010.
And 6.
And yeah, 2006 World Cup, Thierry Henry goal after Zidane free kick. Look at that Brazilian team, Ronaldinho, best player in the world at that time. Robinho couldn't make that starting 11. Ronaldo da Lima.
Adriano was the best striker in
Italy at that time with Inter Milan.
Juninho,
as in
Roberto Carlos. The list goes on. Yeah, Cafu. The list goes on. And
Dida was the best keeper in the world at that time.
Right.
And somehow, France beat them.
Zidane probably played his greatest football match to date. I mean, as a French player.
Maybe the 98 World Cup final
the 2 goals, right.
Again, those 2 goals against Brazil. Look at the Brazilian team. Ronaldo da Lima was at the peak of his game in '98, youngest world player of the year coming into the World Cup.
Suffered convulsions at before the game.
Somehow there's this guy from Juventus who comes up and scores 2 goals for the Les Bleus. I can't pronounce Samba boys in French. But Brazil-France is a very intriguing fixture. Brazil has changed its style of play. So many Brazilian players in this current squad are based in France. When you look at their back four, when you look
Paris Saint-Germain,
Maxwell, Thiago Silva, and David Luiz, who are most likely going to start. Maybe Marcelo will also start. Dani Alves. When you look at currently on paper, Brazil is a better team, but Brazil huffs and puffs when you don't expect it to.
Especially when they play against France.
Yeah, and Dunga, I think, is a more disciplined tactician coming back in his second stint.
Very defensive.
He's very defensive, but he's bringing back of Robinho into the squad. You know, Brazil, when you look at the Brazilian team at the World Cup, it didn't have strikers.
That takes a lot of guts to bring back someone who hasn't played for the team and that was left off the World Cup list.
But Robinho is one of those players Brazil should not have left off the World Cup. He's still a very good striker. Pato is also in that squad for Brazil. When you look at the French squad, Mohamed Sako is starting for France. Tells you much about France's quality nowadays.
Right.
I don't think this French squad is as good as the ones before it. The Zidane squad. When you look at, I think France had their worst squad in 2010 in the South African World Cup. The 2010 squad is better than this squad. I would simply say.
So you don't think the Sissokos and those boys, the Matuidis, can do anything on the Benzemas?
Johan Cabaye is their leading midfielder and he can hardly start at Monaco. So tells you much at Paris Saint-Germain. It tells you much of the current crop of French players. Maybe Hugo Lloris, and I think he's injured. He may not be in this fixture. Mohamed Sakho, I call him the one-legged bandit. I can
Benzema, not convinced?
Not convinced.
All right, let's move on to Rwanda and Zambia, another international friendly that's taking place this weekend. What do you think are, first of all, what do Rwandans expect from John McKinstry?
To be honest, he has a very tough job ahead of him, turning around this tide of the national team. Yesterday I was talking about the lack of Gichumbi players in that team. I still feel Gichumbi players should be playing for the Rwanda. They should be given a chance in such fixtures. He has taken a very strong squad out there, but I think Rwanda is going to mainly rely on Moji. The midfield combination of Moji and Yannick has to do wonders for Zambia. Zambia is also rebuilding. They're in the rebuilding phase after winning the 2011 Africa Cup of Nations. They were unlucky in this year's Africa Cup of Nations not to go past the group stages. I felt they played very good football. 1-0 score lines, 2 draws in a very tough group that had even the final champions, Ivory Coast. Yeah, but Zambia have dropped the Calabar brothers. You feel they have dropped Impima. You feel this Zambian team are not also at their strength. Maybe Rwanda can go and snatch a draw, but that would be a very good result. Again, this shouldn't be blamed on John McKinstry because I don't feel this is his team yet.
He inherited a team that was already in place.
This is a squad that was picked by the technical director, Lee Johnson. So I think Lee Johnson will be doing most of the touchline calling, but John McKinstry will get a chance to study the players, and I hope he's a hands-on coach. Yeah, he promised us a lot of flair attacking football. So we're not going to see those results in the first game. We're going to give him some time, and his success, I think, will also guarantee the Ferrafa president's success if he will be in the Rwandan presidency come Chan 2016.
Arnold, I almost said all the days of Kalusha Bwalia. Let's move on to Michel Platini before we wrap up. I mean, a lot of people expected him. I mean, that was popular belief that he was going to go against Sepp Blatter for the FIFA presidency. He didn't. He's still criticizing Blatter. But he just got re-elected for a third time for 4 years. So how can he, the thing I don't understand, how can he, say he's not for Blatter standing multiple times, but he's doing the same thing with UEFA?
I think to some extent it's a stage of hypocrisy, if you feel so. I think Platini is waiting his time out. I feel he's going to be the next president of FIFA come maybe 2026. After about 5-6 years, Sepp Blatter has been at the helms of world football for a very long time, making a lot of rational decisions, if you feel so. Awarding those 2 World Cups to Russia and Qatar, many people felt he didn't need to. Platini, he's a motor mouth. Platini has changed a lot in UEFA, the awarding of only, he's trying to cut on the powers of what you would call Europe superpowers. That's Spain, Italy, England, and maybe France and the Netherlands, from the Champions League sports, giving more UEFA slots to the lesser nations. That's where most of his votes are coming in, from the likes of Lithuania, the likes of Russia itself. So Platini is, I don't think he's any different from Sepp Blatter, but at least we need a new face when it comes to the FIFA presidency. He still maintains, these are what you would call the money boys. FIFA institutionally is one of the most corrupt institutions in the world.
Like I told you before, Joao Avalanche was here before Blatter, and he was there for multiple terms as well. So at times he feels like a country that's badly run.
FIFA is a country that's badly run, and it's run on government funds because most of these associations pay. Remember, it comes from the taxes.
They're members.
They're members. So this is the money that keeps these called big dogs in there to make whatever decisions they're making. And FIFA is just one of those bodies that, I don't know why the world lets it do whatever it does.
Arnold, you're a man of many talents. We appreciate
Thank you, Regis.
Thank you very much. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The International Conference for Economic Integration among Nile Basin countries has named His Excellency President Paul Kagame Personality of the Year 2015. President Kagame was recognized for his role in spearheading technology innovations and the e-governance systems in the region. Officials also said that Uganda President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who was last year's recipient, had been monumental in transforming the once rich state into a respected contributor to economic integration and regional security in the Nile Basin region. The Nile Conference will convene on Thursday in Kampala to formally award the heads of state.
The Minister for Sports and Culture, Julienne Uwachu, has urged officials at the Institute of National Museums of Rwanda to embrace innovation to attract more tourists. Minister Uwachu, who was visiting the museum, said there was room for improvement and called for more partnerships between the Institute and the private sector to ensure the country's culture is preserved and also to attract tourists. The Institute has been facing challenges like damaged buildings and the lack of office space for their employees at various sites.
The governments of Rwanda and Zambia have embarked on efforts to repatriate thousands of Rwandan refugees living in the southern African country. This comes after officials from the two countries and the United Nations High met in Kigali to explore ways of implementing the process. Only 25 out of an estimated 4,000 Rwandan refugees in Zambia have received Rwandan passports, but none has come back home. All Rwandan refugees across the world are required to repatriate voluntarily. Since 1994, more than 200 Rwandan refugees have returned from Zambia.
And in international news, ex-Liberian President Charles Taylor has been offered to serve the rest of his jail term in the UK after losing a request to be transferred to Rwanda. Taylor had argued that he was being denied his rights to a family life because his wife and children had not been granted UK visas. A UN-backed court convicted him of war crimes over his support for rebels who committed atrocities in Sierra Leone. The former Liberian leader was sentenced in 2012, and an act of parliament was passed to allow him to serve his sentence in the UK at the cost of British government. Okay, lots more still to come. Movie review is up next. Plus, we take a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Connect to Lusaka 3 times a week starting 27th March. Enjoy comfort and safety at affordable fares to 17 other destinations across Africa and the Middle East.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's time for the movie review.
I've been waiting for this.
All right, so we have some new movies that are out in the cinemas right now. First one is called Insurgent, and let's take a look at the trailer.
This is our fight.
This Friday.
I'm not afraid.
Don't miss the movie that critics are calling
You ready?
remarkable in every way.
See for yourself.
It's packed with action, suspense.
She's gonna do it.
And dazzling effects.
This is insane.
This movie has it all.
I have to admit, I'm impressed.
Insurgent. Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D.
All right, so basically this movie is the typical, or maybe not so typical, girl versus the world,
Right.
I suppose, and she kind of...
type of movie.
Yeah, I heard you saying how much, you thought it would be...
Why do you like those kind of movies, Arnold?
Oh man, I just like this kind of movie.
It appeals to the youngsters out
Right,
there.
right.
So listen, basically, it's an action-packed movie that is perfect for, you know, friends going out or even a date night, or even if you just want to go and see a movie and, you know, get a little pumped up.
Solo.
Yeah, it's a good solo movie too. So basically, it's starring people like Shailene Woodley, Ansel Elgort, and Theo James. And basically, these are like some upcoming actors who are really doing a lot right now. Oh, you're going to know them after you go see the movie.
Definitely.
So if you guys love action, or if you want to, you know, go and kind of spice up your weekend, you can go and see that one. Now, there's another movie that's more of a family movie, more of a my type of movie. It's called The Second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. And it's actually a sequel. So let's check out let's check out the trailer.
All right.
The Marigold Hotel has been going properly for 8 months now. People who come and go, but there's been a core of regulars from the beginning, and Sunny takes a roll call every morning.
A most valuable precaution to ensure that nobody has died in the night.
Mrs. Evelyn Greenslade.
Here.
Douglas Ainsley.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mrs. Madge Hardcastle.
Here.
Norman Cousins and Miss Carol Parr.
Both here.
Mrs. Muriel Donnelly.
What's left?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Guy Chambers.
Lordy, Lord, have mercy on my Everest. First time in India?
No, it's just pretty much a dream until now.
Any other dreams I could help you with?
You should marry that girl.
I want to.
Sometimes it seems to me that the difference between what we want and what we fear is the width of an eyelash.
I'm so sorry. Were you talking to me?
I don't know why I tell you anything.
Because I'm older and wiser.
19 days older.
That's the entire lifespan of a wasp.
The second best exotic marigold hotel.
I couldn't resist the chance to come back and visit the old crumbling ruins and see how the hotel was doing as well.
So that's the second best exotic marigold hotel. Like I was saying before, it's actually a sequel, and in the first one you kind of see the story of the hotel. It was kind of down a bit, and you saw with the young boy there, it was his father's hotel. Then a whole group of older, maybe senior people, you could call them.
Former superstars.
Yeah, former superstars. Oh, but hey, man, they're still
Arnold is
doing
not
their
going to
thing.
go see that movie.
No,
Well, he was
but
actually
actually, that's a movie. I'm going to take someone to that movie.
So, so this group went and actually revitalized the hotel, and now this new movie is about the fact that it's still completely occupied, and there's one room left, but two people want the room. So it's kind of like the story about what's going to happen with that. And the guy wants to actually start a second best exotic marigold hotel. So I think it'll be a fun movie. I loved the first one, but then again, I just love movies with old people.
I'm a fan of Dev Patel. He falls within my...
In your group of
cool people. Dev Patel.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, if it's a family affair, or or if you want to take me, let's go see that one.
I'm not
that one
taking
is
my
perfect.
kid. I'm taking someone for this movie.
Anyways, let's move on to the cult classic.
Yes.
Arnold's favorite part of the entire movie review, I'm guessing. Anyways.
Don't say the title. Let's just see it.
Okay, you know what? Let's just see it. Cult classic.
Don't they go by in a blink? You're dead.
Yes?
You're not dead, you're just a kid in a suit.
The suit came with the body I took.
You want me to be your guide?
I wish to see the world.
Mr. Parrish, will the gentleman be staying for dinner, sir?
Yes.
If I say who you are, I don't think anyone will stay for dinner.
Does your friend have a name?
I'm sorry, this is Joe
Incidentally, Joe what?
Black. Have we met?
He's from out of town.
Let me ask your opinion. Do I blend in?
This is crazy.
You're married, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Gay.
What is that?
Peanut butter, sir.
I thoroughly enjoy this peanut butter.
This is Joe Black. Will be joining us this morning.
Our sole order of business today is an acceptance of John Bonacue's generous offer.
Bring more of these delicious cookies. And a cup of tea with milk, please.
Is there anything else, Mr. Black?
You like him, don't you?
May I kiss you?
Why, yes. In this world, nothing is certain but death and taxes.
Death and taxes?
Yes.
But non-parent.
Who is Joe Black? He sleeps at Bill's house. He never leaves his side.
I have this big feeling in my knee.
You walk into my life, give me the worst news a guy can get, and now you're spooning with my daughter.
I love him.
I don't care if you love him.
Easy, Bill. You give yourself a heart attack and ruin my vacation.
Universal Pictures presents
I'm in love with a man, but I don't know who he is.
Brad Pitt.
What I know is what I want, and what I want is Susan.
You're violating the laws of the universe.
Oh my gosh. Honestly,
Classic.
I love that movie.
You guys have great choices, man. She got great choices. This is one of my favorite. I know I say that every week, every Thursday.
You do say that every
week. But this one, I mean, like I was saying,
exact statement. But this one,
no, I'll say why. Sir Anthony Hopkins.
And you always have a reason.
If you've been knighted for being good at what you do, it means you're that great. He's one of the greatest actors ever.
He also says that a lot too.
He also says that.
But no, this time he's actually right. Anthony Hopkins.
Because you also like
love this movie.
I
so
don't
it has
even
Anthony
know
Hopkins,
what the movie is.
Brad Pitt, and Claire Forlani. And basically, it's just a story of, as you saw there, Brad Pitt is actually death. So he comes.
What?
Yes, he's dead. So he comes to take Anthony Hopkins there, and he instead decides, I want to see what the Earth is like.
Right.
So he gives him a time frame so he can kind of close up everything that he needs to do before he dies while he has his little vacation on Earth. And honestly, that movie, that's my jam. I love that movie.
That's a classic.
So if you don't want to go to the movie theaters, or if you just want to watch a really good movie that you haven't seen yet, like Arnold is going to
go to the
weekend.
Theater. There are real movies at the theater this weekend.
That's another movie that you can check out, all right? Don't listen to him. Now, on to of course, the trivia question. Before we wrap up the movie review, I have to give out some free tickets, of course, to one lucky winner to check out the latest movies playing in theaters. So this week, instead of announcing the winner on the show, I'm going to announce him or her on Facebook or Twitter. So make sure you look out for your name if you got the answer right. Okay, so for this week, all you have to do is tell us, what other movie did Anthony Hopkins and Brad Pitt star in? Is it A, Hannibal, B, Ocean's 11, or C, Legends of the Fall? Email or tweet us email, tweet, or Facebook us the answer. And the first person to respond will, of course, win 2 movie tickets to go to Century Cinemas and watch whatever they want to watch, all right? So, again, the question is, what other movie did Anthony Hopkins and Brad Pitt co-star in? Is it A, Hannibal, B, Ocean's 11, or C, Legends of the Fall? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Hot Topics.
Welcome back, and it's that hot topic time again. As always, the Rise and Shine Rwanda team have been out and about gathering everything you need to know about what's happening here and around the world, from what's trending on Twitter to the debates in your local cafe. We've got it for you right here, right now. All right, guys, so we live in Rwanda. Some of us came back to live in Rwanda. We're loving it. But then we're being recognized by the world. Apparently, Rwanda is one of the countries where people are actually having a good life. And people are happy. One of the places where the population is the happiest. Now, think about this for a second. The number 1 country, according to this survey, is Paraguay in South America. They're the happiest people in the world, according to the survey.
Well, where's the survey from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Glam. It's
something.
Something.
It's a survey. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, this is what they're saying. I don't know which facts they base themselves on, but it's just that. And then, Rwanda is number 15 in the world. Mm-hmm. And we are on the same level as the United States of America and Bhutan.
What's Bhutan?
It's one of those kingdoms in Asia.
Okay. We are happier than Americans. I think we are happier than Americans.
Both of my co-hosts, you've both lived in other countries. What do you think of this survey?
I don't know. I mean, I think I would have to know more about the survey.
What are the criteria?
What are the criteria? You know, what are the other countries? A little bit more about the survey, who conducted the thing. But, I mean, what can I say? I'm quite happy.
Are you happier here than you were in other countries?
Yeah, I am definitely happy.
That's so hard to say because there's so many different factors, right? But I can say that here I am very happy.
I saw someone tweet earlier today, or actually yesterday, to Pharrell saying, since we're now number 15, could you come and do a run-in version of Happy?
I would assume that he would go to number 1 though.
Paraguay. Just gonna do a Happy version in Spanish.
But I saw a lot of people on Twitter and on Facebook retweeting that and posting that everywhere. It seems like everyone agrees.
I do agree. What's Paraguay? What do you know about Paraguay?
I know
Santa Cruz,
football.
Rocky Santa Cruz.
Rocky Santa Cruz, a
Rocky
great
Santa
player.
Cruz.
That's about it.
That's all I know about
now we
Maybe
know
that's
they're
why they're
also very
happy.
happy.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're happy. We don't know that much about their business. I don't know.
Okay, all right, on to the next.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Remember 2 days ago when we talked about the Kenyan restaurant? Was it 2 days ago or yesterday?
2 days
It
ago.
was, I think it was the day
ago.
before yesterday.
Right, and we were talking about how there was this restaurant in Nairobi that barred
The Chinese restaurant.
Right, the Chinese restaurant that barred black patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no Africans after 5. That was a policy that day.
exactly. Now, CNN and Yahoo and all those very, serious
Media houses
are
Quote
saying
serious. Quote serious.
are saying that, and the local newspapers in Kenya as well, right? They're saying that the restaurant has been closed, and the owner has been arrested. Him and his associates have been summoned by the authorities.
I mean, but we did say that, right? We did say it can't be legal for you to make a policy in any public establishment that says that a certain group of people, especially people who actually live in the country, actually it's their country, that they can't come in. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
And
right.
this is the social media age. You don't just play games like that, man. At the touch of a button, everyone will know.
Just picture someone coming into your house, yeah, and
telling you that you can't come back
You
anymore.
can't go to a certain room in your house. Like,
it's unbelievable, right?
My mom will spank me if I told her.
Now, do you think they'll get what's gonna happen to them? What do you guys think is gonna happen to them? You know about Kenya a little bit. What do you think is gonna happen?
I just hope they don't get a backdoor out of this. I hope they really face the courts and they get their punishment.
Does the law apply the same way for nationals? And
it should apply for the same way because they committed the crime while in Kenya.
Right.
But with how the Kenyan judicial system works, these people may be, out of those prisons so soon.
If they feel unsafe, just send
let
them
them
home.
go home and where they feel safe
Okay.
and set up a Chinese restaurant in China.
Voila. It's fine. Why do they need to be in Kenya serving Chinese food to only Chinese people if that's what they want to do? Really?
Unbelievable.
Come
But
on.
hey, it's happened. Now we know, but we said it was gonna happen though.
Yeah.
It's not like it's really
Actually, I didn't
closed
expect it to happen.
I
Personally.
expected it to be closed. You can't just, come on. Even if the authorities weren't going to do it, now that it's everywhere all over the world, they had no choice but to close it down. I mean, it's like public outcry.
I hope they really, these people come and face, the full arm of the law, as they say.
Right.
I just want to have to, be boycotting Chinese food. I love it.
I love Chinese food too.
Go
For
back
you
China
guys
and
at
sell
home,
Chinese food to Chinese.
You guys at home that want to have an opinion or feedback about what we're talking about here, like this Chinese restaurant closing, please let us know what's on your mind. Tweet us at RiseandShineRW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. Follow us, we'll follow you back. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today, but make sure that you let us know if you have any ideas for the program. We're always looking out for you. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahario.
And me, Regis Isheja. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow morning on behalf of me, of the beautiful team that's
Arnold
representing now.
Arnold
You're beautiful.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.